Okay, now let's cover a little bit about scraps, an overview, so you understand the game that it is you're designing for, as well as the restrictions put on you as the level designer. So, Scraps is a third-person action exploration game. So the overall premise is that the scrappers receive missions from the bastions to complete. Right, the bastions are the wealthy individuals that have survived the apocalypse that send you out on these tasks. Right, so the player is sent on a mission to receive a valuable item from the wastelands. Also, it could be some major task they need to accomplish. Right, powering something off or destroying something or some big event, some big cause and effect. If they go out in the world and adventure and do something, it then has some positive, maybe, or even negative impact later on. Right? So, what the player finds or what that goal is that they have to accomplish, who they're doing it for, is totally up to you to design. That's where your creative freedom comes in. All right, so keep that in mind. There's something the player needs to go out and do, some main task or some main item they need to retrieve. So try to think of what that item is and how they actually find it. All right, so off to the right here is a really good analogy and a good way to think of the difference between MacGyver and Rambo. Right, so MacGyver is going to be using his environment, using his wits to solve puzzles and to cleverly come up with a solution to the problems. Rambo, on the other hand, would go in guns blazing, right, shooting everything, kicking down the door, causing chaos, right, rather than focusing so much on combat, which I know is very popular among games. Try and think of just a single player experience where interacting with the environment and using basically puzzles or different problems and having creative solutions. And now the player needs to come up with those solutions or complete those puzzles. So try to think in that realm rather than combat and weapons focused. Focus on using the environment or using your surroundings to overcome an obstacle. All right, so here's just an overall vision, right? And now we know in design that aesthetics aren't the main purpose, right? It's all about gameplay and fun. But painting this picture for you hopefully will help you keep your vision within check, right? So it's a Scraps. The overall vision of it is post-apocalyptic with some sci-fi technology, right? So you'll see in the creative vision we don't specify and say a specific year. It's something about not in the not too distant future, right? So thinking about if right now or in the 20 years from now an apocalypse happened, that's the type of setting Scrapped would be in, right? So some great examples. Mad Max, the movie, right, of the most recent movie. If you haven't seen that, it's a great one to watch and check out for some inspiration. Fallout and Recore are some great games. And now I'm not talking about the gameplay, just the specific setting of those games is what we want to visualize for Scraps. And I will mention that we do have an asset depot provided for you guys, so you won't have to build all these assets yourself, and it won't be naked by the end. You will have some of these assets that fit within your level to present that level of polish rather than keeping it with the gray boxes.